So on the very back of your workbook, there's this practice guide. And so I'm going to just put a piece of tracing paper over the top to talk to you a little bit about connecting letters. So if we were to take, if we wanted to do a word, so say we're going to do the word hat. Remember, we want to end at the waistline. So that's what it looks like when we have high connection points. All of our letters ended high. And then if I add the letter A, we'll add that in and I'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna end it where I feel like it. So when I'm teaching lettering classes in person, I see a lot of this because people forget that they need to finish all the way up here. So I don't know if you can tell the difference, but the main difference is when we use high connection points, there's this little pocket of negative space right here that we don't have when we don't have high connection points. And that little pocket of negative space makes it easier to read our words and makes it more clear what the letters are and when one letter is ending and when one is starting. And so we want to just make sure as you're drawing your letters, just make sure you finish all the way at the top every time. There is one example where two letters connect where you maybe wouldn't want to go all the way up, and that's with the letter E, because you're going to start the loop here for the E. So you can still, we still created that pocket of space, but I really kind of ended it about halfway so then I can start my loop. You can sometimes go all the way, but then sometimes you get this situation where it goes past. So yeah, go about halfway if the next letter is going to be an E. The other thing I wanted to mention with connecting your letters is the spacing between letters. So the spacing between letters, I'm talking about this space right here and right here. So this would be what I would consider regular spacing, but you could do really tight spacing. So it would be something like this. And when the spacing is tighter, your letters are also thinner. So you can see there's very little space between those. We could do something too where we're going to go really wide, but that's also going to make our letters really wide too. So from here to here. So you'll notice as you're doing this, if we were to just draw some lines here, you can kind of see that it's like equal amounts of space between all of these things. So however thick your O form is, that should be the same thickness, here's our O form, as the spacing here and as the T, if that makes sense. It's the same with this one, we're going wider. You just want to be consistent with that. And generally speaking, you can kind of mix and match your thicknesses a little bit, but generally you want to keep a composition in the same family. So if you're going with kind of this spacing, you'd want to do that throughout your whole composition. If you're starting with really tight, you'd want to go with this one, or if you're going really wide, you'd want to go with this one.